Welcome to the UnScripted Authentic Leadership Podcast, a podcast where we're seeking to lead change. We're also seeking to understand. We are also here as a platform for leaders to come together to unite, to develop and empower other leaders in the areas of business, family, and community. I'm your host, Lafayette Lane, joined by my co-host, John LeBrun. Today, we are joined by our special guest, Mario Armstrong. Put those hands together, put those clap emojis in the comment section. Clap it up for our guy, Mario, who has joined us to have a conversation about wake up and level up. Just a little bit about Mario Armstrong. Mario Armstrong is a two-time Emmy Award winner. He's a lifestyle entrepreneur, a TV host, public speaker, and motivator for the modern world. He focuses on delivering tactical advice to inspire people to take action, pursuing their personal and professional goals, dreams, and passions. He's the host of the Emmy Award winning Never Settle show and NBC TODAY Show Contributor. He's appeared on Dr. Oz, Steve Harvey, NPR, Inside Edition, and more. He's also a public speaker with Daymond John Shark Group's speaking division. He also has a new daily podcast entitled Wake Up and Level Up that kickstarts your day in under 5 minutes with a jolt of inspiration, advice, and personal growth formulas.
I feel like I'm coming out on the ring. I feel like I'm like, yeah. Where's the robe? Where's the smoke screen? Where's the DJ? Like, I appreciate that, man. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here. Wow, that was great to listen to that. Thank you.
Yeah, he's joined us He's joined us today right here on the UnScripted Authentic Leadership Podcast. Mario, thanks for coming on, man.
It's a pleasure, man. It's an honor to be here. Thank you both, John and Lafayette. I really appreciate it. Thank you to all the listeners out there and viewers out there. Really want to get to know you in the community and excited to be able to try to shed some light and give some information and tactics and advice and inspiration to help you really achieve the thing that you have the potential to achieve. You know, my big focus is creators and entrepreneurs. Like and those that are just looking to really develop their passion, but I'm really looking to try to give people as much as I can the blueprint of opportunity for them based off of the failures that I've gone through and some of the wins that we've had so that you don't have to go through those same potholes. So it's an honor to be here to kind of serve beyond me. And so I'm excited.
Love it. A part of that blueprint as a mantra that you go by, that you say, hustle mindfully and never settle. Can you just unpack that for us when you talk about hustling mindfully and never settling?
Oh yeah, because it's like a juxtaposition, right? It's like, wait, what are you? Are you hustle about the hustle culture? Or are you about the mindful and awareness culture? So like you got hustle mindfully, never settle. It's kind of like these polar opposites. But honestly, it's a blend of the two. And you know, I'm not a fan of the hustle culture. Because of what that can do to us physically, but what it also does to us spiritually, what it also does to us mentally. Because when you are being kind of told by society that the best way to get results is that you have to work extremely hard all the time and grind, that's the only way. Something has to sacrifice in order for you to get to success. Well, it really depends on what that definition of success for you is, first and foremost. But number two, no one ever told us that we had to beat ourselves to a pulp, and that is a requirement in order to be a success. And so the mindfulness part comes in where it says, yeah, let's work hard. Let's have work ethic. Let's work smart. But there's a difference in the culture that we've been trained. We've been trained. If you think about how business has evolved since, and even going industrial revolution, or you look at like cars being manufactured, and there's a plant, and you have people working on a line, on an assembly line. They need to be there from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. or 8:30 to 4:30, right? That's very efficient. That they're going to be there. The person's going to make sure those lug nuts go into the tire and screw on that thing. And that person's going to check to make sure the steering wheel is great. Like that's the mentality of how business started. But that's not where we are today. Nothing's really on an assembly line like that. So many of us are working this is even pre-pandemic. So if you even look now, it's even completely distributed differently in how we have the opportunity to work, where we want to work from, what time of day we need to work. And so when I think about that idea that we've been indoctrinated to be super efficient.
Yeah.
But what we have lost, or many people just kind of interchange these words, which is wrong. What has gotten confused or has gotten lost is the word effective. So we've been really great at being efficient. We can work long hours. We can stretch ourselves. We can push to the max. But are we working on the right things? Mm-hmm. Are we working on the things that actually matter? If you look at somebody's genuine 8-hour workday, how many hours are they actually working? Like if you really were to assess all the breaks, all the internet time, all the notifications that pop up on the phone, the time when they check in on Instagram, they're talking to their friends at the water cooler, they're doing this, they're doing that, they got the commute time going on. Like if you actually assess the amount of actual work that really mattered, you're probably at like a 4-hour window.
Right.
So the hustle thing does one thing for certain. It will burn you out. It will burn you out, and you will sacrifice your relationships, your family, yourself. You will have some sacrifice. The mindful part comes in and says, can we do this mindfully? Can we pursue a passion, be ambitious about it, really be excited about a thing that we want to work on or pursue, but do it in a way that we still don't diminish our health or the people that are important to us around us. And so that's where the mindful piece comes in. So hustle mindfully means to pursue your thing. Understand that you have a vision, you have potential that's untapped that you need to realize. But let's do it mindfully. Let's not step on people along the way. Let's not look for shortcuts. Let's be in the present as much as possible. Let's understand that getting to whatever destination that we're trying to get to, if we can't celebrate that with other people, there's no use in going to that destination. Mm-hmm. So hustle mindfully is kind of like this checks and balances for us ambitious people to say, yes, I would like to hustle for my thing, but I want to make sure that I'm being a good human along that process.
Go ahead, John.
Yeah, I was listening to in a small group with a guy named Ryan Blair once, and he had attributed to sort of like building a race car. He said when you're taking a race car, he said one of the things they'll do early is they'll rev that thing up about to its max to see what kind of performance is it capable of, and then they bring it down. And the reason you do that is say, okay, we can get up to here. I can go 4 days on 4 hours of sleep, but then I'm exhausted. Okay, you've tested it. You've given it a test. That doesn't mean you keep running at that pace. You now know about where you are. Now, what is the healthy? That car. Where does the healthy limit for the vehicle for that race car before it needs to come in and get some maintenance? What is your healthy work level to where you're as productive as you need to be to the level that you're happy with the results, but at the same time, you're not burning your family out. You're not burning yourself out. You're not grumpy with your wife all the time. You're not ignoring your children, and you haven't thrown your friends to the garbage, like you said. So when you get there, you look around, you go, where'd everybody go? And I thought it was a great, basically along with what you said, I just gave me that image that I remember learning several months back.
See, because, when you think about that analogy also, when you are in the moment, you can throttle it the way you need to throttle it if you're presently aware and you're in the moment. So when I'm working on something, I need to be focused on working on that something. But then I know that when I'm done working on that something and I'm now having wife time or family time or spouse or partner time, I need to know that I have to have the same tenacity on that I do when I'm on work time. And so, because it gets to this point of, and when I'm with my kid, it's like, okay, shut down. The business part is done. You've said this is going to be the time when you're going to be hanging out with Christopher. Be hanging out with Christopher.
How do you get comfortable with that?
It's this flaw that I believe that we've been kind of pushed. I don't believe in work-life balance. And there is a whole movement around you need to have more work-life balance. And I understand that that's coming from a good place. Like, hey, how can you balance your work and your life? But I actually think that's a flawed approach. And the reason why I think that's a flawed approach is because you're not balancing work and life. You're balancing life. Work is a part of it.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you are in the present moment, you're balancing the thing that you're in that moment at that time. So you should have these kind of peaks, but these peaks apply to everybody. You're going to have moments when you feel like you're doing really great work. And then you're going to have moments when you're feeling like, man, I'm not doing the best work I should be doing. And then you're like, I'm with my kid. I'm having great moments of being completely with my kid. And then you're like, I'm with my kid and I'm on my phone. You know, so it's like, if you could actually recognize what you're doing in the present and really trust, I think the other part of this is trust. We have to trust ourselves that if we decide that we could, well, Mario, I might miss an email. Then we could either talk about systems that you could have in place, or we could talk about how you're communicating to your staff or your peers or your clients or your vendors so that everything is understood, that there are boundaries, that there are work times. Like, there's a lot of other things tactically that you can do. But if you can't even agree that really what we are in is in the present, we're not in the future, the past already happened, so I'm balancing this. So all my attention is on this interview right now. I could be getting pinged left and right. I don't care. I'm on this interview right now, 1,000%. When I leave this interview, going to have dinner with the wife. I'm not going to go on there and be on my phone or even talk long about this podcast interview. I might mention it if she asks, but we're going to be into, all right, what do we want? What are we doing for dinner? Are we watching something? Are we doing something? Like, it's going to be like complete go in. So I believe that if we can become more presently aware of the moment that we're in, that we actually do a better of this quote unquote juggling that people are trying to get to. And instead, I think when we try to pursue work-life balance, we get exhausted because who gets it? How do you know you got it? Like, and if you're pursuing this one thing that you think you can get, then you're like tiring yourself out, as opposed to like just be in the present and be as fully aware and in that moment. And I think with that, you know, with the car, it's like, yeah, I don't need to push it 1,000 miles an hour right now. I'm just going to coast at 10 because I need to sit and chill. And if we trust ourselves that we'll be super effective in the present moment, then you don't have to worry.
You mentioned systems. Can you clue us on any systems that, it's funny you said that because I was thinking in my head, I wonder if Mario has any systems in place. And then you mentioned
lots.
Is there anything you have that somebody could really take from?
Man, I'm holding a tomato timer that sits right by my computer. Literally a little oven, old school.
Yeah.
Little tomato timer. And the reason why is because I bought it as a symbol for a technique that I love. And one of those systems is the Pomodoro Technique. Have either one of you ever used a Pomodoro?
No, I
don't know what it is.
Oh, man, let me break this down to you really quick. This is how you start to get to being in the present moment, and you start trusting yourself, and you actually start getting results in a very short amount of time. The Pomodoro Technique is a technique that says you work on one task and one task only for 25 minutes. No interruptions, no breaks, no notifications, no nothing. You are locked into that one task for 25 minutes. You time yourself. At that end of that 25 minutes, you get to take a 5-minute break. That break has to also be timed. At that moment, you can get up, stretch, grab some water, maybe respond to a quick email if it all can be done within 5 minutes. Don't start a presentation deck because you got a 5-minute break. So you're timed for 5 minutes. After that 5 minutes, if you didn't complete that task you were working on, you go back to that task with another 25-minute window. At the end of that, you take another 5-minute break. If you finish that task, you move on to the next task with another 25-minute window. After that third one, you take a 15-minute break. Timed. What this has proven and shown, and it's not just from my own lifestyle, but also from my wife and I are in business together, in the same business together. And so we've been through quite a bit. Like we were bankrupt. My mother-in-law was paying for our groceries. We were trying to raise our son at the time. I was digging in sofas and trying to find loose change to be able to put that in the Coinstar machines in the grocery stores to try to get some cash to be able to give me gas money to try to get to an appointment, to try to make something happen. It was tough. It challenged our relationship. It challenged our marriage. It challenged our resiliency. And there were plenty of times of crying, arguing from frustration and stress and not seeing the light at the end of the tunnel of how you were going to get through this thing. And I say all that to say that, you know, that's my story. Everybody's got a different version. Some have a deeper level. of their story and been through worse. But my biggest concern was I saw my dad go bankrupt pursuing his dream. And I was like, damn, am I fulfilling that same thing again? And I saw what it took for him to kind of dig out of that and try to make his dreams happen. And so I was, really questioning myself as a man and a person and all this stuff. And so I was like, I have to have systems to help me do something different than what I've been doing before. And the first system that I instituted that really changed my outcomes was the Pomodoro Technique. So when I teach it to others, or when I see now my business partner and wife using it, it is amazing how effective you can be when you are solely focused on a task at a time and you know that you get that 5-minute window. People think email is work. Like that's not work. That's being efficient, but that's not the effective work. So when I'm working on like making a deck, because I know I need to present to brands, because I know that in order for me to make money for the company, I need to get brands to sponsor my content. That's the effective work. I need to be out selling. So what are the tools, the things that I need? Oh, I need to start approaching 30 new businesses. Okay. Today on my Pomodoro, the goal is I got to come up with 5 businesses and their contact info, the name, the right person, the right contact, like all that stuff. And I'm going to try to get that done in, the next 3 Pomodoros in like 25, 50, 25 minutes. And so you become very effective and you actually start looking at the end of your day and you're like, man, I got progress today. So that's one. I mean, time blocking is another one. When you're looking at specific time blocks in your calendar and you allocate certain things to only happen in certain time blocks, that's another great way. I'm a creative. It's hard for me to lock myself down. I like to have some spontaneity. So actually time blocking spontaneity, which sounds kind of like, how do you do that? You just leave some white spaces. Mm-hmm. Not everything needs to be calculated on the calendar. Give yourself room to explore. Another system is meditation and prayer. If I don't wake up and start my day right, I kind of start getting grumpy and I'm like, man, you cheated on exercise today, right? Oh man, you skipped on that prayer real quick. Like you feel it and you're like, damn it, I got to go back and start over. Like, let me grab my daily word and actually do my prayer. Let me actually do my meditation and start my day. So that morning routine for me, very, very important. Another system would be the MIT method, which is the most important task at that moment. What's the most important task today? When I fill out what I'm thinking about for my day, my to-do list is not 10 items long as it relates to business and my goals for my business. My to-do list is only 3 items. Mm-hmm. It's only 3 items. Today was create new content for TikTok ads, put together identify 5 clients, new potential businesses that I need to approach. And the third goal was, we had a meeting about who we were going to hire to do our ads. If I got those 3 things done today, it was ginormous win. Anything else on top of that is icing on the cake.
Mm-hmm. Love it. You're
bringing it today.
That's amazing. You made a statement on Instagram that really blessed me, a graphic. You said that people join movements, not ideas. And then you asked the question, what are you fighting for?
Ooh.
Can you unpack that for us?
Man, just hearing you say that back to me, it's because my intentionality with that was really, everything is coming to me from a higher power, right? Everything is coming to us from a higher power, right?
Yep.
But I just see so many people. The biggest challenge for me is to see someone who knows what their gift is. It's different if you don't know what your gift is and you need to try to many people know what it is, but they may not be recognizing it, or they are assuming what comes great to them, since it comes great to them naturally, that it's not a gift. And they just don't understand that was the superpower that you were given. You should lean into that. And the hardest thing for me is to see someone know what their talent is, but can't execute on it. And so often I'm thinking, well, what's the mental block for this? And I'm saying, so much of what blocks us and so much of what gets in our way is our own ego. It's what we see for ourselves or what we're not seeing for ourselves. It's because I have this goal that I want to accomplish. I. And stop. When I say, who are you fighting for? It immediately shuts down the ego. Unless you are that narcissistic, be like, I'm fighting for me. And there are some people that probably will be, I'm fighting for me, but I have yet to run into those people when I do those types of posts, public speaking engagements, IG lives that I do. Whenever I'm using that or talking to that to my courses and my students, they're not coming back to me saying me. They're thinking of everything else. Normally what they say is, they may say, I'm fighting for my family. They might say that. They might say, I'm fighting for my kids, or I'm fighting for my spouse or my partner. They might say that. And then I'll push. I'll be like, no. Who else? Who else? That's still kind of ego-driven, because that's like your immediate, who else? Because what I'm trying to do is get you to understand that there are people outside that you don't know that need your gift and your talent. So who are you fighting for? When someone asks me that, I am fighting for creators, content creators and creators overall, and entrepreneurs. Unequivocal. That's who I am fighting for. I am fighting to help them realize their biggest potential by giving them access to transparency, technology, tools, advice, guests that I bring on, and ways that they can monetize their business. I am fighting for that audience. So it's bigger than me. And since it's bigger than me, it's easier for me to come back to center when I don't feel good, when I don't feel like working today, when it feels like nothing's going right. Well, it's not about you, though. You got people that are depending on you, not just your immediate family. You got other people that are depending on your gift. And if you don't serve it up, we are losing out. The world is losing out. So when you say who you are fighting for and you put that down on paper, you making an alarm on your phone 3 times a day, and it starts to become part of your unconscious thinking, your subconscious, you change in how you move because you recognize that you're a vessel for something bigger than you.
Yeah, let's let that moment just rest for a second. Then you go ahead, and John, go ahead.
That was amazing. When you first, I haven't defined it quite. I guess for myself, I never thought, who am I fighting for? You have as far as missions and so forth, but as soon as you said it, the first picture came into my mind was dads. I know I'm not a dad's podcast. They have things like that, but we are raising leaders, and our goal is to help better and develop and help leaders sort of level up.
Oh, yes.
And when the image in my mind when I think leaders has always been, and there's females and so forth, but for me, has been dads, because my pain point has always been dads who should be more, if that makes sense. Right?
Wow.
And everybody's got their thing. And I'm here for the female entrepreneurs. I'm here for all kinds of things. But the pain point that really gets my soul is the dads, the friends I have who are fathers and so forth, people who don't have dads because they just left and so forth. It's the dads, or I think of all the women who have been abused and so forth. You could fix the dads and help them fix their sons.
You break the cycles.
Fix those for themselves. So I love that you said it, because it's getting me all like rolling right now. I'm ready to go charge outside in the snow. And
but John, it feels good to know. It feels good to hear it, right? Like I even get empowered. The listeners and the viewers should even be getting empowered, because you have such clarity on, and that's what it does. It helps to provide that clarity. And the reason why we spin our wheels or don't become as successful in our own eyes, maybe the way we want to, or have the impact that we're looking for, is mostly because we want to reach too many people, or there's too broad of an audience and we haven't gotten clear with who we really wanted to help. There's nothing wrong with a secondary market. Every brand has a secondary market, but you better believe there's a primary market. You better believe Cheerios wants the parent to buy Cheerios. You think that's the primary market? The kids. The kids, it's the primary market. Mom, Dad, I want Cheerios. So the commercials go to the kids for that brand, right? But it's a primary and a secondary. You have the same thing. You want to get leaders to lead. You want the leaders to level up, but you have this primary focus on dads because you see that as a root of a lot of challenges and a lot of issues that needs to be addressed. Nothing wrong with anyone else that can benefit from your content, benefit from your information, take nuggets away and move it and apply it in their life. But there's no mistaking who you're fighting for. Mm-hmm. I got that clearly from you, man. That's powerful. I'm so glad to hear your clarity on that.
So you have a morning. So I say morning. It could be any time of the day. But wake up and level up. Correct?
Yeah.
And so great show, by the way. Everybody should subscribe to Mario's podcast. Wake up and level up. What are some of the things you do for like as far as getting your day started? Like that someone could really put into their life as well to really get their morning routine going. That's something I'm always working on is making my morning routine better. I have kids, trying to get them off to school and so forth. Yeah. Whatever. I'm more of a night person. I have a better night routine than I do morning routine.
Oh, really? What is this night routine? Let me hear this.
Yeah. Well, it's more of a our family's self-employed, so I'm there for much of the day, and then my evening is typically my break between this and sort of unscripted work that I would do in the evening is typically taking my kids to sporting events or us going out to eat as a family, or if it's when it's right now it's snowing, so we're not doing a lot outside, but going to the parks, so forth. And then I do the dad thing. Once they go to bed, I like to do a certain amount of time of work on certain days. And then I kind of recognize how many days a week I can do that versus spending time with my wife in the evenings, that kind of thing. And then I do my workouts in the evenings instead of the mornings. I get that mornings are better. And I'm working on that transition. But honestly, when I'm trying to stay consistent, I'm a lot better being consistent in the evening. And then after that, shower, and then I like to read at the end of my evenings because I find that reading is good for my mind and it helps me sleep. Kind of calms my mind down a little bit, so it's not racing at 1 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah,
and then hit the sack.
It's a great process, bro.
Yeah, that's my
great process
routine. So.
Look, the point is we have to know what works for us. There are some certain things that many of us underestimate, like getting good 7 hours to 8 hours of sleep. Because you can go on 4 or 5 does not mean you should be going on 4 or 5. And I would venture to say that if I actually put you into a test, because I've seen these tests of aptitude versus someone that's having 4 or 5 hours of sleep just because they can, versus someone that's getting 7 to 8 hours of sleep, you can see the clear difference from the schematics that you're not operating at your fullest. So there's the whole sleep factor. And then there's the going to bed without the news. Like there's a reason why doctors say get off the screens an hour before bedtime, because they know not only from the blue light that's stimulating you, but also the content is stimulating you. And so, there's no news in our household. There's none of that stuff because it's usually, nothing of real value. You can get news from other sources that are valuable to you and you can still be clued into what's going on in the world. You don't have to watch it the way it's reported because that is a high stress proposition. So that's my kind of evening routine is to you chill out, shut down, relax before I go to bed. When I wake up, my morning routine is the first thing I do is I wake up and thank God for waking up. Second thing I do is I stretch my body. Like I have to wake my body up. Move my wrists, move my ankles, stretch the body, let it know like, hey, we're waking up. Nothing long, just a few stretches, just to wake it up. Next thing I do is I say a prayer, usually using the daily word as my guide, a daily word prayer for the day. And then I'll think about my family and my friends in that prayer, close my eyes, think about other people that I'm grateful to have around, that I'm alive and I'm able to see or talk to them. And I'm wishing everyone, really good health. And then I say, if any of my energy can be used to help anyone else see the light, to get help, to have hope, God, use my energy in the best way possible for me today. And then from there, I go into a Buddhist prayer where I actually will do about maybe 5 to 10 minutes of a couple of Buddhist prayers that help me to get centered. All of that, by the way, is only taking me about 15 minutes. This isn't like, oh my God, Mario, you're sitting for an hour. It must be nice for you to be, this is going down in like a 15-minute window, people. This is like, but it's concentrated. It's not rushed. And I haven't touched my phone yet. You got to fight the urge. Too many people are reaching over to grab that phone. That is when you start living your life on defense and not living in your life on offense. When you are reacting to something else that's coming at you as a way to start your day, it's really hard to switch out of that mode. And what we believe over time is that that is the mode of life. Yeah. It's like, no. You get two choices when you wake up every single day. I don't care who you are. I don't care what your socioeconomic status is. I don't care what happened to you last night. I don't care if you got in an argument, whatever. It doesn't matter. Nothing. None of that matters. Two choices every single day. Once you realize, oh, I'm still here. I woke up. Two choices. One, you get a chance to do something better than you did yesterday, a chance to forgive, a chance to forget, a chance to make something happen, a chance. You get a chance to be a better dad today, chance to be a better husband, whatever it is, you get a chance. And then the other thing that we all get is we get a choice. We get to choose what energy we want to bring to that day. Do you want to bring energy from yesterday when yesterday's energy ended on a bad note? You want to still hang on to that? It's a brand new day. What are we talking about? People consistently believe that they're having these bad days. How was your day yesterday? Oh, it was a bad day. Oh, really? What happened? Well, in the morning, I spilled some coffee on me and the computer didn't connect to the internet and I missed my first meeting. Oh, well, how did the rest of the day go? Oh, well, lunchtime was great. By the way, I caught up with such and such and we had this conversation and then I talked to blah, blah, blah. And then this afternoon I sent out 3 proposals. Wait, I thought you just said you had a bad day. Right? Like we allow these bad moments to become bad days because of how we process the moment. And so what I'm saying is every single day that we wake up, we actually got a clean slate. It's all about how you want to carry it.
Yep. Mario, we are in a series for February called Black Excellence. We remixed the name from Black History to Black Excellence because
that's nice.
A lot of times that word history seems like Black excellence and Black achievements is a thing of the past, right? So we're calling it Black excellence. It's not only a thing of the past, but it's a thing of the present, and it's also a thing of the future, right?
That's right. Yeah, love it. Wow, that's great, guys. That's great.
When it comes to living a life of excellence, what does that mean to you?
Oof. First thing that comes to mind is integrity. Doesn't matter what the zeros are in somebody's bank account. Doesn't matter what I'm driving. Doesn't matter. Was he a good person? Did he take care of other people? Did he do unto others as he wanted it done unto him? I mean, like, what are we talking about here? Like, what's the integrity? So that's number one. That comes right immediately to the forefront. Then it's how much did he share? Because especially when we're talking about the Black community. But this could also go for any community or any person that always felt like the underdog or always felt like they got scraps.
That's good.
Because what you're fighting against is a crabs in the barrel mentality. Because maybe you've been conditioned or maybe you've been in a tough environment growing up. Maybe you didn't get a chance to get exposed to see things that other people got a chance to see so that they knew the world could be different for them. And so I think that if I'm not depleted with my sharing, I didn't do my just. Because it's not for me to hold on to information. People think the value is that these smart people or these wealthy people, they've been holding on to information. They execute on the information, number one. They don't talk about it. They may talk about it. They may not talk about it. But I tell you what they do is that they execute on it. They execute on the information, number one. But number two, everybody that I know that's been wealthy that I've had a chance to bump into, because I've been in some really blessed spaces. I'm on the Today Show. I've been in the green room and I mean a lot, several years. So I've seen everyone from Diddy, to Mary J. Blige, to Warren Buffett. I mean, you named it. I've met so many of them just sitting in the green room. I'm waiting to do my segment at 7:45. They're going on at 8:15. Or I'm going on at 8:15. They're going on at 7:45. But I was always that guy that even though I had a segment that I was going to be doing at like the 8 o'clock or even the 9 o'clock hour, I showed up at the studio at 7 a.m. And the producers would always be like, your segment's not till like an hour and 45 minutes from now. Like, you don't have to be here, but like 20 to 30 minutes before you. I know. You just don't know my game plan. My game plan is I'm meeting everybody that's coming by the show today. I'm sitting in this green room because this is the one space where I don't have to worry about the bodyguards and the this and the that trying to like block me trying to say hi to somebody. So it was strategic for me to wake up and be early, but that's hustling mindfully. So I would say, integrity is really important. I would say sharing the most valuable information that I think I can offer to people would be the second most important thing. And then I would probably say pulling other people up is my definition of creating excellence. If I'm only benefiting from it and I'm sharing it, but I'm also not pulling somebody else or pulling a bunch of people up with it, then what kind of pathway am I leaving for others?
That is excellence. Connect with Mario. You can do that several ways. On social media, he is at Mario Armstrong. Check out his website, www.marioarmstrong.com. And as John mentioned, download, subscribe to his podcast, Wake Up and Level Up. Listen, this has been an amazing conversation with Mario Armstrong today about waking up and level up. You can listen to this episode on all streaming podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts at. Follow us on our social media platforms at Unscripted Leadership, and our website is unscripted-leadership.com. As always, we pray that you be the leader that God has called you to be. We're here to build bridges and not walls. Bridges connect and walls divide. Until next time.
Oof.
Bless you.
Lafayette, John, everybody that watched or listened or shared this, thank you so much. I really appreciate the time. It's been an honor. I love this title. I love this podcast. I love this format. I hope at some point maybe I get a chance to come back and maybe we get a chance to get you guys on doing something I'm doing. But Unscripted podcast is exactly that. You guys, let's let it breathe, unscripted. And I really enjoyed the conversation and being able to be a part of your vision and your impact to help leaders lead. Y'all, this is Mario Armstrong, 2-time Emmy winner, telling you this is one of the hottest podcasts I've been on in a minute, and I've really enjoyed it, the Unscripted podcast. So thanks again for having me, and I would just say to people, man, if there's something that is important enough to you, you have to do it, even if all the odds